Alexandra Eala just completely dismantled the 2024 Dubai champion on center court, leaving the entire world of professional women's tennis scrambling to process what they just witnessed. This was no fluke or stroke of luck, and that crucial distinction is exactly what is rewriting the history of Southeast Asian tennis in this very moment. The 20-year-old Filipino sensation, Alexa, has sparked an absolute fan frenzy that rivals the electric atmosphere of Melbourne Park. We are heading out live to Ollie Hagg, who is reporting for us this evening from the heart of Garden Square. The 2026 Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships were intended to be a premier exhibition for the absolute elite of the sport. The event featured a massive prize pool of $4,888,211, offering 10,000 status and 1,000 ranking points to the winner. The Aviation Club Tennis Stadium had been meticulously prepared for a competitive field that originally included 18 of the world's top 20 players. Tournament director Salah Talak had every expectation of delivering the marquee event he had been working so hard to build. Then, the wave of withdrawals began as world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka stepped away, citing physical exhaustion following her triumph at the Australian Open. Soon after, world number 2 Iga Swiatek withdrew as well, citing a necessary schedule change after her exit in the Doha quarterfinals. Madison Keys, ranked 17, was sidelined by a thigh injury, while Victoria Mboko, number 10, confirmed her withdrawal after the draw was already set. By the time the dust finally settled, 24 players had either pulled out before their opening matches or were forced to retire mid-tournament. 16 of the world's top 20 were simply missing from the bracket when the tournament kicked off. And amidst that wreckage, Alexandra Eala found her golden opportunity. Born on May 23, 2005, in Quezon City, Philippines, Alexandra Maniego Eala was ready to seize the moment. Her entry into the main draw did not come through the qualifying rounds, but rather as a direct result of Madison Keys being forced to withdraw. Her position was fully secured when McCartney Kessler, ranked 53, was forced out by a lower back injury before the draw could even stabilize. Eala, who arrived in Dubai ranked 47 in the world on February 16, suddenly found herself in the main draw of a prestigious 1,000-level event, without playing a single qualifying match. However, this is the exact point where the narrative shifts from a story about good fortune to a testament to Alexandra Eala's specific talent. Eala's first-round challenge was Hailey Baptiste, a formidable American opponent ranked 45 in the world. The match never reached a final set, as Eala dominated the opener 6-4 and held her ground as the second set began, with her trailing 0-1. It was at that moment that Baptiste was forced to retire due to an injury, ending the contest prematurely. It was a quiet start without any viral clips or massive crowd eruptions. Just a focused athlete moving forward and conserving energy while securing a win. With that, she officially claimed her first main draw victory at the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships. Yet, no one in the stadium that day truly realized what that arena was about to transform into during the second round. Standing across the net from Alexandra Eala on February 17th was Jasmine Paolini, the world number 8 and the defending 2024 Dubai champion. This was the powerhouse who had conquered this very tournament the previous year, representing the kind of ceiling most expected Eala to respect. Eala showed no such deference, crushing the first set 6-1 and sending a literal shockwave through the gathered media members. However, the second set is where the true legacy of Alexandra Eala's 2026 campaign was etched into history. Throughout the intense battle, Eala landed 67% of her first serves with remarkable precision. On those crucial first serves, she won 86% of the points, an elite performance that completely neutralized Paolini's return game in the opening set. Eala surged ahead in the heat of the battle, establishing a commanding 5-3 lead during the second set. She pushed herself to the brink of victory with 3 match points on Paolini's serve in the 9th game. Yet she was unable to capitalize on any of those critical opportunities. Jasmine Paolini, the world's 8th-ranked player, demonstrated her championship pedigree by breaking back and shifting the momentum of the match. The tension reached a fever pitch as Paolini fought her way to a 6-5 lead, putting the young star on the defensive. The Italian powerhouse then earned multiple set points, threatening to force the match into a grueling and unpredictable third-set decider. The 5,000 seats within the Aviation Club Tennis Stadium, packed with Filipino expatriates living in the United Arab Emirates, fell into a hush during the 11th game that felt like a collective holding of breath. Defying the immense pressure, Alexandra Eala clawed her way back into contention and secured the tiebreak 7-5. The match-ending shot was a thunderous forehand winner, perfectly executed on Eala's fifth match point of the entire contest. This time, the stadium did not stay silent, as the crowd erupted with a roar so deafening that the chair umpires were forced to intervene to restore order. When the final ball was struck, the official clock showed that the high-stakes match had lasted exactly 1 hour and 40 minutes. With this monumental triumph, Eala officially recorded the third victory of her career against a top 10 opponent. However, the significance of this particular win stretched far beyond the final numbers posted on the scoreboard. To truly grasp what was happening inside that 5,000-seat arena, one must look at why the people in attendance reached for such an unusual comparison to describe it. The specific phrase that echoed through the stands was the rebirth of Beatlemania. The massive Filipino expatriate community in the United Arab Emirates turned out for Alexandra Eala with a level of passion that has no precedent in the history of the Dubai Championships. The air was thick with handmade signs and synchronized chants, creating a wall of sound intense enough to require official intervention during active points. The Aviation Club Tennis Stadium was completely sold out for Eala's matches, with the vast majority of those 5,000 seats filled by kababayan, or compatriots, who came to see one of their own dominate on the world stage. Eala summarized the surreal experience perfectly after her win over Paolini, remarking that she looked up and saw a sea of Filipinos that seemed to go on for days. Among the thousands of supporters, one specific sign captured a unique sense of national pride that went far beyond the sport of tennis. A mother in the stands held up a poster with a humorous proposal that read, "Alex, please marry my son." Eala's charming response, a playful wag of her finger toward the woman, was caught on camera and went viral, spreading the story of the Dubai tournament well beyond the tennis community. At that precise moment, it became clear that this was no longer just a standard sports narrative. Alexandra Eala had transformed into a living cultural phenomenon, surrounded by thousands of people, waving her flag in a foreign land and treating a quarterfinal run like a massive national celebration. It was then that the entire tournament shifted in a way that the professional tennis world had not fully anticipated. On the evening of February 18th, Eala stepped back onto the center court for another high-profile session under the lights. Standing across the net was Sorana Cirstea, a seasoned Romanian veteran ranked 32 in the world, who possessed years of elite experience and the tactical mind to handle hostile environments. As it turned out, Cirstea struggled to manage both the brilliant play of Alexandra Eala and the electric, partisan atmosphere that night. The opening set was a fierce, tightly contested struggle that stayed on serve until the 11th game, when Eala broke for a 6-5 lead and immediately consolidated to take the set 7-5. Eala then exploded into the second set, racing to a dominant 4-0 lead as Cirstea began to falter under the weight of several unforced errors. The Romanian veteran showed her grit by fighting back and winning 3 consecutive games to narrow the gap to 5-4. Eala closed out her final service game without dropping a single point, securing the match with a score of 7-5 and 6-4 in 1 hour and 38 minutes. With that monumental victory, Alexandra Eala etched her name into history as the first Filipino player to ever reach the quarterfinals of the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships. On-site observers noted that Cirstea seemed to be methodically worn down, not just by Eala's sharp play, but by the overwhelming partisan energy that the Filipino fans built around every single exchange. However, there is a deeper layer to the Alexandra Eala story that you won't find in the highlight reels or on social media snippets. At the age of 20 years and 268 days, Eala became the youngest Asian woman to ever secure multiple victories over top 10 opponents in WTA 1000 events before turning 21. This achievement allowed her to shatter a record previously held by Naomi Osaka, reaching this milestone 82 days faster than the former world number 1 did. While players like Zheng Qinwen also reached multiple WTA 1000 quarterfinals before the age of 21, Eala's exact age at this juncture has now set a brand new historical benchmark. By February 16, 2026, her career prize money had officially climbed past the $1,570,000 mark. The 215 ranking points she secured as a quarterfinalist are projected to propel her into the top 38 of the world rankings. This career-best ranking serves as a fundamental turning point, granting her direct entry into the main draws of WTA 1000 events and Grand Slams moving forward. She is no longer a player who has to fight through the qualifying rounds or cross her fingers for a lucky loser spot to open up. Despite the celebration, there is a contrarian reality hidden within the statistics that deserves a clear and honest assessment. This Filipino fairy tale was constructed, in large part, upon a foundation of unexpected tournament withdrawals and absences. It is a documented fact that Alexandra Eala did not originally qualify for the main draw in Dubai through the standard competitive route. Her elevation into the tournament was made possible only after Madison Keys was forced to pull out with a persistent thigh injury. Eala's position in the draw was eventually solidified when McCartney Kessler, ranked 53, suffered a lower back injury and was unable to compete. The absence of the world's top-ranked player, Aryna Sabalenka, left a massive void in the competitive landscape of the event. Similarly, the world number 2, Iga Swiatek, was not present to defend her standing or challenge the field after her earlier exit in Doha. In a shocking turn of events, 16 of the world's top 20 players were missing from a WTA 1000 tournament with a prize pool of $488,211. Tournament director Salah Talak did not hold back, publicly questioning if the reported injuries were truly as severe as the elite players claimed they were. Talak argued that current WTA fines are not a strong enough deterrent for wealthy stars, advocating instead for ranking point deductions as a more impactful penalty. Essentially, the director was highlighting the exact competitive vacuum that paved the way for Eala's remarkable journey. Nevertheless, Eala stepped boldly into that vacuum and proved she belonged there by delivering world-class performances. She took down the defending 2024 champion in a convincing straight-sets display that left no room for doubt about her capability. Eala showed incredible mental toughness by winning a high-stakes tiebreak even after seeing 3 previous match points slip through her fingers. While Sorana Cirstea seemed to buckle under the intense atmosphere, Eala remained completely composed in front of 5,000 of her most passionate supporters. The stark contrast between Eala's success and the case of less prepared wildcard recipients proves that her talent is entirely legitimate and earned on the court. Any lingering debate regarding the legitimacy of her spot was effectively settled the moment she hammered home that forehand winner on her 5th match point. However, as the tournament progresses toward the final stages, we are left with a question that the current data simply cannot answer. Waiting for Alexandra Eala in the quarterfinals is Coco Gauff, the world number 4, and, quite interestingly, Eala's former partner on the doubles court. Gauff secured her place in the Dubai quarterfinals after a grueling match against Elise Mertens that many analysts described as painful to watch. During that struggle, the young American star struggled significantly with her rhythm, ultimately committing 16 double faults throughout the match. Despite those struggles, Gauff enters this high-stakes matchup as the highest-seeded player still standing in the top half of the tournament draw. The narrative surrounding this specific clash is built on a foundation of deep mutual respect and professional history between the two young athletes. Coco Gauff has already publicly acknowledged the incredible Pinoy power emanating from the stands, while Eala has framed the match as a no-lose learning opportunity. This mindset is both remarkably humble and tactically brilliant for a 20-year-old preparing to face one of the top 5 players in the world. This quarterfinal marks only the second time Eala has reached the final 8 of a WTA 1000 event, following her impressive semifinal run in Miami in 2025. She entered the Dubai tournament ranked 47, but her performance has already guaranteed her a projected rise into the world's top 38. The Aviation Club Tennis Stadium is expected to be a complete sellout once again as the passionate Kabayan crowd returns to support their hero. Coco Gauff will have to walk onto a court where every single missed serve will likely be met by the cheers of 5,000 people who are rooting for her opponent. However, the data leaves us with one major unanswered question regarding Eala's physical state, as analysts noted signs of extreme exhaustion during her second set against Paolini.